How's it going? Can you hear me? How is everything? Is it good? Can you hear the soundboard? Hey, Miscellany, we actually, you know what? One time, we had 100 people in the chat. That was back in the London town. I think when, before I came back to, America. Yeah, it's exciting. I mean, these are the days. These are the days of our lives. Anyway, hi, sound is good. Excellent. Everybody, how are you doing? I missed you. I missed you so much. I mean, psychically, emotionally, physically, streamably. It's really good to be back. I mean, it's been a full week, right? I mean, I'm doing good. Oh, God. Oh, man. I knew I was gonna, I'm not gonna freak out, but it's really good to be here. And whoa, man, I missed you so much. It's been so crazy. Patty Okra and Dee Dee Brew Crew. I really want to say hi to everybody. Sibby Mac and Val and Tani. Oh, man. You guys, I'm feeling the vibes. PJ Meep. I don't know. Do you know about this new sound effect? It's a champagne cork. It's the best sound effect because it's really short and I really like doing it. So it's like, hey everybody, it's Saturday night. Hey everybody, I see M. Sujan in the chat. Oh, somebody just subscribed. This one's pretty good too. Let's see, I see Molly in there. And it's kind of, I don't know, it can be so many things. Everyone should just walk around with one of these, you know? You really should. It's just, thank you. You help an old lady across the street, help anybody across the street. Quilty Mouse, Gamer Granny, oh my God. Ivy Kadivy, you really are. I mean, parasocial as it may be, people, you're really my friends, So, yeah, Quackwa Cat, Padma and Robin's Nest and Felt Like Sweets, Charles, and Bridgewater and VA, and I don't know. I was worried about you too, and the chat was kind of going cray, and it was going quickly. So, and I was running around getting everything ready, so I didn't see everything that people were saying, but I know that people were saying very kind things, and that you missed me too, and I did too. Jan makes stuff. Sandy tries. My great cats. Okay, Penny Catherine, Stephanie Cake. Quack Cat. Oh, Molly bought a sewing machine. This is all very exciting. Natalie Merchant. I watched the Alanis Morissette documentary. There's one on, I don't know, is it HBO or something? I watched a lot of documentaries in the past few days. Molly got a featherweight. There's so much to catch up on. Stephanie Cake's mom is here. IWC Quilts, welcome to the show. I think that's really cool. We have several mother and daughter teams. In fact, we've gone over that before. Mother-daughter teams in the quilt world. Me and my mom, and we've done that before, but now we have another one. And in this very room, we have now, because we've got Grover and her daughter Echo Sew, and now we've got IWC Quilts and Stephanie Cake. IWC. I wish for cake quilts. I don't know. It could be anything. If I haven't said hi to you yet, Jill, Alex, everybody, Bonnie, I'm gonna say hi as we go. I missed all this fun stuff too, Myra. I missed it too. You know what I say to that? That's right. Do I have a crisp? I do. I've eaten a lot of them already. You can't not eat one. Okay, so, excuse me, okay. If you're just joining us, this show is about quilts, and it's about quilts in a way that's very, I haven't done like the spiel lately, I'm gonna warm back up into it, It's about quilts, and the reason that we have a show that June 25th, 2021, yeah, was the first time I ever went live on Twitch. it was the first time I ever even tried doing this. And the first shows, I'll get back to what the show is, but the first shows were just me going like, trying to, I don't know how that looked, trying to figure out, it was like, what? Eric, help me. What is this? I don't know. And no one was watching, thank God. But, over the course of the year, I've gotten like better at doing the show. I think I've learned a lot. My audience has learned a lot. My audience has become this wonderful group of people. And if you're new here and you've never seen the show, it's like, well, what is that? What is this? What do you mean this wonderful group of people? Why are you so wonderful? Well, we have a common interest, and that's one of the things that makes us like each other. But we also happen to be a group of really engaged, interested, intelligent, creative, interested, and interesting people. And our topic that we like is quilts. And last week I was live streaming. Well, I had a family emergency, so I had to go. I couldn't do the show for a week. It was a week ago, right? Yeah. Anyway, the last time I streamed was on Saturday morning, so it's been a week. And you don't have sound. IWC Quilts. You don't have sound? You don't have sound. Hang on now. First show you watched on the treadmill, it was just like that, Mary Fons. It was like the first stream. You watched some of the first streams. It was probably like that. Now wait a minute now. Somebody help it. Susan! Thank you for subscribing, Susan R. Michael. You've subscribed for 9 months at tier 1. You're a subscriber for 9 months. What am I gonna do for you? I mean, no, you know what? Susan is an OG. So honey, you have sound. Okay. IWC, sometimes you refresh your thing or you hit the sound thing a little bit. Sometimes I have to restart my computer. When I set up tonight, I had to restart it. Anyway, so we like talking about quilts because last week, like I was saying before, I had to deal with some family stuff. I was at this wonderful. Whoa! Wait, somebody followed. Oh man, hold on, somebody followed me. Thank you for following me. I was at this wonderful museum, and it was this anniversary thing, and it was a quilt museum. Okay, there's a quilt museum. There's actually a number of them, and all of these scholars were there, and all of these historians were there, and all of these world-renowned quilt makers were there, and there were relatives of people who, like Joanna S. Rose, Deborah Bingham. We heard from Deborah Bingham. That was her aunt, Joanna S. Rose, who had, this 660, I think, red and white quilts from the 19th century, and the early 20th century. And that was her aunt, and she loved her aunt. And this woman has this collection of quilts that were shown in New York City, and it was this huge deal. And the quilt museum where I was in Lincoln, Nebraska, the International Quilt Museum has those quilts now because those quilts were given to the museum. Were they given to the museum? Anyway, they live there now. My point is that there is so much in the world of quilts that every time I'm around you all preparing for this show, which is an exploration of quilts. It's not a presentation, it's an exploration. I learn along with you as I show you all this like cool stuff I find about quilts. It's basically it. I'm just amazed. I mean, there's dissertations. There's a lot of dissertations. I mean, that's not even like it's not like there's a dissertation about quilts. There's a few of them. There's so many because quilts are history and they are our future in a lot of ways too, because people keep making quilts. And so every time somebody makes a quilt or writes about a quilt or, investigates one or goes to a museum and looks at one in person that they've seen on Quilt Nerd and they freak out, there's really a lot there. It's really our passion around here because there's a lot to be passionate about. You know what I'm saying? So I want to get that alert box in front of me. So if somebody else subscribes, that's a good idea. Or wants to follow this channel, which you should, because then you can get a notification when I go live. And I go live at least twice a week. Because of the emergency, things were a little freaky, but I went live more last week. It was a strange thing. I was like really bringing it for you from the museum. I do think, thought that was pretty cool, bringing you all that stuff. But I was really glad I had that like in the bank because I had to go. Eric's doing much better. He is home now. He got home yesterday. Yeah, Friday. And I'm really glad. Oh, Kelly, oh yeah. The Mary Keeps You Company videos. I was doing the Mary Keeps You Company videos on YouTube, and then I started doing this, and I was like, I think this is it. I think I'm keeping them company. So, oh God, Liz D, whenever a quilt is made, an angel gets their wings. Was there ever a better quilt church moment than that? Okay, so yeah, we called it quilt church there for a minute, and then we switched, but it's still here, the sound. Okay, so I had so many plans for last week's shows, and some of the plan from the last show, from the show that I was going to do, we're going to do tonight, and it involves movie night. I feel like movie night is so much fun for us when we watch a video together that I'm going to like really advertise movie night, and so everybody can make sure to, you know, get to the show and watch movie night, because movie night goes really well. We really like movie night. So we're going to have a partial movie night. We're going to watch a video because I wanted to watch it last week because it was very relevant to what we saw in Lincoln, Nebraska at the International Quilt Museum. But then I was like, no. I have to cast us off the husks of the past. And you know, I can't pre-plan these shows too far in advance because I got to feel the spirit. And so I'm serious. I got to feel it. If I don't feel it, And so I was putting stuff together, and I was like, oh, I know what I'm going to do. So we've got a movie night. Yay, movie night. Oh, Kelly says we loved the new acquisitions from the IQM. You know what? Me too. I think that's like maybe the best thing I've contributed to the world of live streaming so far. I mean, that was special. That was really, really special. If you haven't seen it, I put it on, it's on the Twitch video on demand channel. I think I uploaded it to YouTube. I think I did that because it's so exciting. It's so exciting. I want people to be able to understand what the museum is, you know, and what it is and what it does and why it needs to be there and why you should be a member. You should be a member. And yeah, that was cool. A 3-hour tour of the inner sanctum of the Quilt Museum, the International Quilt Museum, the new acquisitions. Only the board members. And I suspect like the, you know, the donors, the big donors, they get to do whatever they want. But yeah, took the camera in there. And thank you to Heather Lundeen, the brilliant Heather Lundeen, because she lent me her hotspot. And there was like very little buffering, right? Oh God, I was so afraid. But it worked. Yay, movie night. Yay, popcorn. Hey, it's okay. NDH. You had your popcorn, Padma, you know what? You know what that is? So, oh, good, Miss Eleni. I'm so glad you liked it. My great cats loved it. It was fabulous. Or it was super cool. Want to know how much training to how it takes to be a handler of quilts. It's interesting. You know, those museum folks, there's a lot of training and a lot of stuff. And oh, you know what? One other thing, and then we're going to get into this. The quilt behind me is the way we start the show. We're going to start the show with the quilt. And, but there's that Miss Fashionista, that lovely girl, Katie, who I met, who's an not assistant to the curator. She's an assistant. She's a curatorial assistant, and she's awesome. And Katie, if you're watching, it was so nice to meet you. And I'm so glad I had to leave early. I mean, so sorry I had to leave early, but I was so glad to meet you. And yeah, stay in touch, girl. I'll be back in Lincoln. Okay, so let us begin. Where are you? Hold on now, just a minute. Oh, here you are. Okay. So I've got a little taste of stuff for you, and it starts right now. Okay. Help! I'm small. I had to get small. So on Positive Threads. Oh, it's so good to see you. So on Positive Threads. Welcome back. Well, I mean, you've been here, but you've been watching the replays. That happens, man. I've been real behind on my live streams that I like to watch, so I understand. Okay. Oops, I gotta move these folders out of the way. I think there's another one over there. Get out of there. Hey. Okay. Oh yeah, okay, L Riggs. Hey, L Riggs. I got to meet Elle Riggs, Lisa. Everyone should go see the current exhibits at the IQM. They're even better in person. They really are. Oops, okay. So, and you know, I'm so excited to be back that I'm kind of like, but things are good, and I'll calm down. Okay. So this quilt is one of my favorite quilts in the world. I say that all the time, and this time I mean it. This, you know, I mean, come on now. What is there not to love about this quilt? You know, we say, I'm going to start at the top here and come on down. I mean, if it's got a moon on it, a little half moon, if it's got stars on it, let me put it this way. Let me say, if it's got an appliqued moon and an appliqued stars, indeed, Molly. Word and bird nerd, it's so good to see you. And a good Barney, I like it too. I love it. Never calm down. And it's got these little schoolhouse blocks, and so if it's got, you know, appliqued stars and a moon, I'm probably going to like it. I'd like to find those like quilts that don't have that have those things that I don't like. I'd be very interested to see if there were a quilt that I just would not like that had that, because so far every quilt that I see that has a moon on it, that's been appliqued, I love. So, because there's a charm about it. And so here we have, look, the Union Depot here, and these train tracks and the train cars. And I'm going to zoom out again just because I want you, you know, I want you to be able to, like, you're at a museum, you know, and you can, and you can step away and you can step back in, you know. So it's like, wow, here we, oh dear. Oh boy. Green screen's freaking out. Okay. Go in and go out. Oh, so Quilty Mouse says, do the houses have bird houses beside them? Is that what that is? It is that. Are they bird houses? Are they lights? Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Look at what this says. Look. It says, look out. Look out. They're lights, right? Mother Nature, I'm not sure. There's 2 cemeteries. My great cats, I love this. I love looking at quilts with you all, because I saw this and was like, ugh! And it was like, put it in a folder immediately with some other quilts from the same place that we're gonna talk about. But I mean, I love doing the show because I look at things more closely with you than I would look at them myself. I am very excitable. I am excited. I want to look at all the things. I told someone recently, Mike at Cool Folk, I was like, I'll probably be remembered more for my enthusiasm than my laser sharp accuracy, because I'm just like, oh my God. And so, but with you, you know, I can really learn better with you all. And so indeed, I did not notice 2 cemeteries. I know, Susan, the railroad tracks, the Starry Night, exactly. And yeah, bird houses. I mean, I think it's a really good question. I mean, they look, because of the, okay, let's just think here. Because of the railroad tracks, you know, lights seem like they make sense, but then the lights are up in these houses up far away, you know? So I don't know. Here's a cemetery. This is a cemetery that I believe my great cats pointed out. Maybe mailboxes. Okay, Little Bird Stitch says mailboxes too. Susan Michael says, I made a schoolhouse block as one of my first projects to see if I would like to make quilts. Word. Nice. So let's get into the cemetery a little bit. I mean, look at the embroidery work around that yard. Oh, and then the church. Then they're like, oh, I can do a church. I'll just make a bigger schoolhouse block and put a steeple on it. Word. No, it's not right. Anyway, oh, yeah, I know what it should have been. Great. So, yeah. So this is amazing. And look at the quilting. I mean, are we seeing, oh my God, look at the trains, little trains. And the quilting, you might even be able to see a little bit better from where I've got it now. I mean, I can zoom in. Well, yeah, that looks pretty good. Yeah, the telegraph line, Robin's Nest, exactly, in the poles. Choo-choo. Oh, I love a choo-choo sound. Maybe I should get a choo-choo sound. Hang on now. Oh, I love how chatty you all are. It's wonderful. Hand quilted furloughs. Interesting. PJ Meep has a question. Hand quilted. I think it is. It's hand quilted. Okay, so what do we know about this quilt? Wait, let me read this because maybe we will maybe we'll have answers to some of our questions. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. I'm sure it's hand quilted because of the date of it. Probably machine pieced. Those schoolhouse blocks, I would say, are machine. I don't know, but it's very, very likely that the blocks were machine pieced. Oh, and what I was going to say at the beginning, look at this quilting. These wheels or these, I don't know. It's wild. So I have, loose blocks and I bought for the COVID quilt that I made. I still have to turn the binding on. I don't know why I do that. Leave the binding for a long time. But I had these vintage quilt blocks, like extra, bouncing around the house forever. And I appliqued them to the quilt. I just appliqued them down to the quilt. They weren't schoolhouse blocks, but that's what's going on here. They're pieced blocks that have been appliqued onto a thing. So you can do that. Anybody can do that. If you have extra blocks from a quilt, or if you bought vintage blocks, you don't have to make it into a pieced top. You could applique those blocks onto a quilt. Use them as applique pieces. It's wonderful, isn't it? Telegraph wire, telephone poles. Oh, mailboxes or street lamps. Scrapitude. Hey, Scrapitude, look out for the train. I love it. Yeah, you'll end up in the cemetery. Yeah, there's a lot going on here. Scrapitude, I love your name. That's great. You know what? Telegraph lines. Yeah, okay, telegraph lines. Little Bird Stitch, are there light poles in the neighborhood on the bottom? Two sides of the train tracks with electricity on one side and bigger houses. Oh. Interesting. Kelly says, I worked for AT&T for 2 years and that just dawned on me about the telegraph poles. That's amazing. Feandor, hi. Locomotive from Eastern US based on smokestack. Interesting. Oh, you're so smart. Oh, we're not done with this. A giant slingshot outside the house in the upper right. Threadist is saying. Oh, yeah. No, you know what I think that is? Hold on, I gotta zoom it in here. That's a well. Isn't it a well? It would be amazing if it was a giant slingshot. What if I looked at the paper and it was like, the mysterious slingshot quilt was made by Eliza Blah. Okay, so this is what it is. This quilt is from a Sotheby's auction. Sotheby's auction. Rare and important railroad quilt. Rare and important schoolhouse and railroad quilt. York, Pennsylvania, dated 1891. Composed of printed and solid cotton patches, sewn with chain and straight stitches. 21 years at AT&T, Kelly. That's a difference. Let's see. Oh, Jan makes stuff. Hello. Hold on. Let me just make sure. I don't wanna miss too much. Beetlejuice. Tents. Yes, tents. Okay. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Okay. Hey. Hi, Jonathan. Kelly says, I feel like this is a hill valley from the 1800s from Back to the Future 3. That's very good. You know what? Anyway, okay, I could say more about that movie, but I will wait. The group is so smart. I know, Pam, everybody's so smart here. Okay, here's what it says. Composed of printed and solid cotton patches, sewn with chain and straight stitches. The field with flower, heart, leaf, concentric, shell, and pinwheel quilting. God, I love this quilt so much. Some minor stain on extreme left and right border. Mounted on a stretcher. Interesting. Provenance. Jan Whitlock Textiles, Malvern, Pennsylvania. Alexander Gallery, New York. And American Hurrah, New York. Those American Hurrah folks, man. Boy, did they get great quilts. Oh my God. It's been published. It was illustrated in Folk Art in American Life by Robert Bishop and Atkins, why can't I think of a person's first name? Bishop and Atkins. And Young America, a folk art history. Lippman, Warren, and Bishop. It's always Robert Bishop of the American Folk Art Museum. Catalog note, and this is all I've got here. Quote. You know what, Joyous Fibers? I was thinking that same thing. Okay, catalog note. Quote. The schoolhouse pattern is one of the most familiar in American quilts. Here, it has been magically used to create a whole town. Hey, Quilty Nancy, thank you for resubscribing. I appreciate you. I really appreciate you. It's good to see you. Isn't it a great quilt? Okay. The moon, here it has been magically used, the schoolhouse pattern, to create a whole town, said to be York, Pennsylvania. The moon and the stars look down on almost 60 structures, including 2 churches with graveyards, the buildings labeled coal, barn, and Union Depot. The special touch is the railroad, complete with telegraph poles. This is an entrancing example of American folk art, unquote. And that was from Cyril Nelson, The Quilt Engagement Calendar, E.P. Dutton, New York, 1984. The Quilt Engagement Calendar, yeah. The Quilt Engagement calendar will ride again. That's all I have to say. Okay. So that is our opening quilt. And I love it. I just think it's wonderful, don't you? It's just great. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Look, yes, these tents. Okay, one more quick look, because I don't know if we've seen the whole thing. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna disappear. Hang on, just so you can see this part. Bye. Okay. This thing here. These little tents in the corner. Really cool. Christmas! I find that the middle of the tracks is the wrong side. The middle of the tracks is the wrong side. Hey, you know what? That's very good. That's very good. It's very, very good. It's a word to the wise. I gotta get a different, that's too long. Okay, so yes, so here we go. So I found some other quilts at Sotheby's, you guys, that I just had to show you because they're amazing. They're amazing. This one, I only printed out things on a few of them because this is not the main event tonight. And you should all... Oh, that quilt, by the way, that we just looked at, sold for... Actually, I'm not entirely sure that it has sold yet. Oh no, bidding is closed. Well, it was estimated at $25,000 to $35,000. That schoolhouse train track quilt. And I think I have to buy the privilege to know what a quilt actually went for at Sotheby's or something, and I don't have that kind of cash, so we will never know unless one of you bought it. You could tell us. But isn't this great? So these are all from Sotheby's. So if you go to sotheby's.com and you search for quilts, you find some pretty awesome stuff. Obviously, this is, I've never seen, you know what's interesting, that with the American flag quilts, I really see so much innovation in them. I just feel like there are American flag, patriotic quilts, I should say, that use the flag as the sort of the form, or they mess with the form of the stars and stripes and the blue and the white and the red. I should do, actually, let me write that down. We should really do, the 4th of July is coming up. So, obviously, I don't think it's too on the nose to do a flag quilt show. Yeah, obviously, God, 4th of July, duh. But really, it'll be a big blowout, and I'll get I don't know, cupcakes or something. For me, I'll get cupcakes for everyone but me. It will be the only one who can eat them. But flag quilts, of course, because they're just so wonderful. They can be so innovative, and the eagles and the way we've seen some on this show, but there's just really interesting applique that happens, and the way they manipulate the direction of the stripes and the way I don't know. And I'm talking about 19th century stuff here, There's just really great flag quilts, and this is one of them, I think. Oh, yes, Padma. Padma, you're right. She says the auction houses produce sale catalogs, and you can find your answer by research in the libraries that carry them. You know what? I happen to know. So, Honey Bee, you have flag quilts? Really? Perhaps you will photograph them for us. You want to come to Chicago and be on the show? Oh my God. you have my solemn vow. If you are, okay, what do I want to do this? If you are a subscriber to this show, actively, you have to be a subscriber for 6 months. Or you have to be like, I don't know how to do it. Anyway, the point is if any nerd is ever in Chicago, I'm serious now. If you are a nerd and you're in Chicago, and I know you because you're here, you know what I'm saying? Like Sohani's like, I am in Chicago, or I'm coming to Chicago in August for a thing. You just get in touch with me and you let me know. You can be on the show. I mean, if you want to be. Some of you would be like, no, thank you. But wouldn't it be fun? Isn't it fun when my mom's here? I mean, mom's super fun. But like any of you who are ever in Chicago, coming through, passing through, and there's a show, like, that would be amazing. It would be amazing. It would be so much fun. So just come on the show. Oh my God. What if that's the guest thing? What if that's the plan? That the only guests that are on Quilt Nerd are the Quilt Nerds. I mean, I would love that. I would absolutely love that. Any of you at any time. I mean, we would be right here. Oh, I would love that. I would love it. Okay, so this is a quilt. Okay, so this one, I have information about this one. This is a Masonic quilt. I didn't see what happened in the chat. There's probably like 5 people who are like, Mary, careful. Careful what you're doing on the internet. Mother Nature, this is a fraternal order quilt. NX! Hey, NX. So this is a fine and rare pieced appliqued cotton Masonic quilt, initialed CHF, Tennessee, dated 1885. Word and Bernard, you can park your camper van on State Street. They're gonna do anything. No, they're gonna do something. Level 2 subscriber perk. That's a great idea. This is great. Oh God, party with me. Can you handle it? See, so honey, talk to me. Just message me. I'm back in the saddle. Okay, I'm serious. Okay, so this is a quilt from Sotheby's. It was sold for $20,000. Its estimate was $10,000 to $15,000. Composed of richly solid and printed cotton patches, joined in a series of 25 squares, bordered in brightly colored green and red. The squares containing a variety of Masonic symbols, including the compass and square. Beehive. We're going to find the beehive. Oh, there it is, right? Wait, is this upside down? Oh no, it's upside down. Sorry. No, it's not. Oh, no, don't do that. Wait a minute. What's going on here? No, it's right side up. Look at the candles. Are they candles? It's meant to be on a bed or table. Okay, yes, Mother Nature was asking this thing. Twist and shout. Okay, Word and Bernard. Yes, okay, good. Draped on a table. Okay. So it's a date. I mean, I'm serious. Okay, so yeah, on a table. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Compass and square, beehive, the letter G, trowels and crossed keys and swords. The Holy Bible, rendered in embroidery. Oh, there's another beehive that's right side up. Okay, it's all making sense now. 3 great lights, along with Noah's Ark. Oh wow, look at the eye. I'm gonna go away again because I want you to see everything. Look at this eye under the chat. Noah's Ark with a tri-colored rainbow. I think that's back at the top. We'll look at it again. A brown cow. How now? A reverse appliqued heart. Sun, moon, and stars. There's a theme tonight here. And the ladder containing the embroidered initials CHF. The white cotton field with small scale diagonal line, outline, heart, and diamond cube quilting, dated 1885. One small area of stain, otherwise in mint, unwashed condition. Okay, what do we need? It goes both ways. It's sideways. And yeah, everybody's seeing it. The Ark and Dove. The Ark and Dove. You want to see the Ark and Dove? Okay, where's the Ark and Dove? Interesting. So you know what? I will turn it now that oh, look, yeah. Oh, wow. Look at that one. God, that's so beautiful. The Ark and the Dove. Isn't that great? What does the G represent? Asks Christmas. Some of you may know. No, okay, wait. Here we go. Catalog note. The quilt is accompanied with 3 handwritten papers giving detailed information about the quilt. According to the papers, it was, quote, made by the grandmother of Wayne Robb, who was a Texas Ranger. It was given as, okay, unquote. It was given as a wedding gift to Mr. and Mrs. George Fish of Spokane, Washington, whose initials are embroidered on the Masonic ladder. But yeah, that doesn't really account for that G. I mean, George was the guy's first name. Oh, wow. Bonnie, oh God, I missed something before. Oh, Padma, no, it's not that. It's not that. But thank you for throwing that out there. I know that celiac is like, it's really hard for some folks. Okay, so let me turn this around. I think it's gonna not like me. Okay, fine. That's fine. Okay, now we're gonna turn them around. Like this. Yeah. Wait, is that right? Yeah. Okay, sure. Okay, so all of the, now I really understand, because all of the blocks they're duplicated. I mean, there's 2 of each of them, right? Very interesting. Hey, Kitty Hannah. It's so good to see you. I'm so glad you're here. Lily Ann. Maybe, I think you said, I don't know. I'm losing track now, but I love it. Miss Eleni, thank you for subscribing. You have subscribed for 5 months. The letter G. Oh, here's M. Hicks coming in with the knowledge. The letter G stands for geometry, Chris, are you listening? Which is a science that allows man to build massive structures from simple drawings, determine seasons, fix the orbit of planets, and explain the universe and the world around us. Mr. Googly. Thank you, Mr. Googly and M. Hicks. I don't really know the Masonic thing. I don't know much about it, but I find these quilts all the time. The Masonic quilts, I've got a folder of them. I have to make sure I put this one in there. It's a whole thing. We're gonna get there. But the Oddfellows too, Oddfellows and Masonic quilts are really, it's a big deal, man. There's a lot of them. Okay, moving on. Oh. Oh, okay. You're just by yourself. I understand. I get it. No. Hold on. Not cool. Delete copy. Not interested. Annoying. Sorry, I got just a couple more Sotheby quilts that are really, really good. Let's do this. This one. Wait, this one, and this one. Okay, great. Open. I was so worried. I was like, I hope I have enough energy to do the show tonight. It has been a very difficult week, but I'm so happy to be here. Of course I have the energy. So this one is, look at this, Aloha. It says, Aloha. This is this beautiful Hawaiian quilt. I mean, I just can't stand it. It's so different. We haven't really looked at Hawaiian quilts yet. I mean, they come up, of course, like here and there, just like this one, but they're so magically beautiful and wonderful. And this one, let me just read to you about this one. It was estimated at Sotheby's $15,000 to $20,000. It went for $18,750. This is how it's described: a fine and rare pieced and appliqued cotton Mormon missionary, a Hawaiian aloha quilt. What? 1891. This is a Mormon missionary Hawaiian quilt. Are you kidding me? That's ridiculous. That's wild. That's just wild. I can't believe it. Wow. Well, you know what? I'm going to ask you all about the Oddfellows stuff before I do the show then, because I feel like crowdsourcing on that would be a good idea because people have stories. Anyway, so this is wild. So this is what Sotheby says about this quilt. And I stayed back from it because really this quilt is you know, its effect is really captured when you're looking at it, you know, from far away to see those letters and everything. So anyway, the white cotton field of this quilt is appliqued with brilliant red branching leaf designs. The central leaf and branch medallion enclosing the inscription Aloha. The quilt is heightened with contoured concentric echo quilting. Indeed. Descended in the family of Elder Allen. Elder Allen, Mormons, right, to the present owner who was selling the quilt, right? Catalog note, quote, the original owner of this quilt was Elder William Henry Allen, a missionary from Goshen, Utah, for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, commonly known as the Mormon Church. He served as a missionary in Hawaii from 1889 to 1891. In his journal, in his journal, he describes this period as the time he was getting ready to leave Hawaii to return to Utah. He notes that he was presented with this quilt as a going home present. A copy of his journal will accompany this lot. It's good stuff, right? Isn't it good? Yeah. All Shriners are Masons, but not all Masons are Shriners. That's fascinating. I know, journal, Scrapitude. Scrapitude. I feel like you need to stick around. I just have a feeling. Yeah. Okay, last one. Is that right? No. Oh, yeah. No, this is a great transition. I got like the best transition. So this one is the last one of the quilts from Sotheby's. And this is the rare and important pieced and appliqued patriotic compass medallion quilt, signed Martha Hewitt, Michigan, dated 1855. Are you seeing this? Are you seeing it? This quilt is, it looks like it's a painting or something, right? It looks like a computer rendered image. Yeah, My Great Cats, Bridgewater. It's pretty. Bonnie Kane. He must have been a really good minister. That guy. And he was only there 3 years. Maybe they were like, thanks for coming. Bye. Anyway, this is just, come on now. That's a quilt. And here's what they have to say about it. Oh, by the way, it was estimated to sell for $40,000 to $60,000, and it sold for $50,000. $50,000. Let's get up in this. Let's get up in this thing. Wow. Padma, you're ridiculous. Aren't all grandfathers odd fellas? You're hilarious. It's in excellent condition, indeed. Okay, Word and Bird Nerd, where is it now? I don't know, but I'll tell you where it's been. Composed of, composed of pieced and appliqued cotton patches. At center, a radiating sunburst/star compass medallion. The lower border with pots of flowers, Masonic devices. Wait a minute, what? 4 men holding American flags? Hold on, wait. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. Oh my God. The guys are holding the flags. Do you see? I didn't see that. I didn't see it. Did you see it? That's really, I was like, I'm reading the wrong thing. Like, I really thought I was reading the wrong thing, but there's little men's holding flags, and look at the way the flags go. If I turn it, will the men be right side up? Yeah. Right? What's happening? Oh God, I feel so silly. Yeah, they will, right? Ugh. I don't like you. I don't. Why is it doing that to me? Fine, we'll duplicate it. That's fine. I don't need your oppression. Okay, here. Look at that. Chevron flags. You're right, Susan. The flag bearers are defying gravity. I know. And okay. Oh yeah, look at the compass and the square. Fascinating. Here's this Masonic business again. But look at this little sentinel or whatever. Fontanel? No. not that. Not that. Okay, here we go. A little bit more here. And then because we have to look at the signature up here too, because she signed it at the top. This is magnificent. Okay. By the way, so the catalog note says in a New York Times article, dated August 31st, 1986, Kate Kopp of American Hurrah, that's right, the Kopps, Kate and Joe Kopp, I believe, of American Hurrah, the dealer, is quoted as saying, quote, "It's a masterpiece of graphic and pictorial imagery," unquote. Yes, it is. Where's her signature? I just saw it. Hold on now. Hold on. Oh, I turned it. That's why I can't find it now. Hold on. Is that right? Yeah, okay, here it is again. There we go. I gotta turn it one more time. Don't get dizzy. Okay, here, it's right up at the top. You see it up there? Martha, up at the top. Yes, I would like to know as well. Well, I would like to know two things. Liz D is asking, are rainbows a Masonic thing? Definitely want to know. Padma asks, why did they have compasses in their symbols? And L. Riggs has another question that is excellent. Perhaps if my friend Jonathan is still around and not very tired, because I know you had a busy day. L. Riggs says, what does a collector do with the quilts they buy? Do they display them like art or put them in storage? I mean, it's just a really, really, really good question. I think the answer is all of those things, or they exhibit them. They definitely, like Rod Kirikoff we're working on an exhibit of his quilts for the Birmingham Quilt Festival in Birmingham, England in August. I'll be there and I'll be speaking, and that's going to be great. But yeah. So Rod, has exhibits. He mounts, exhibits all over the place to show them to people. I know collectors sell works, they sell to collectors and buyers and auction houses, I guess. I don't know. So, but they're collecting them, right? They're not just dealing them. There's a difference between a collector and a dealer. So a dealer is like buying quilts to sell them, but a collector's collecting them. So, I mean, I know they hoard them. My great cat said they do. I mean, sure. Yeah, so I'm not totally sure, but I mean, we should talk about collecting more. I'd like to know more about that too. I don't know. Compasses are used to compare sizes to duplicate measurements. They were builders. Oh, the odd fellow. Okay, the name. Okay, the name, word and bird nerd, the name is Martha Hewitt, age 56, Michigan, 1855. So that's her age up there. 5'6". I love these women. Some of these women put their ages on their quilts. I think that's so cool. Michigan, and you can't see it in this picture, but it says 1855. Yeah. And yeah, it was in a couple different books. Oh yeah. It was in All Flags Flying, which is a great book for our flag show. Sorry, let me show you the whole thing again. Yeah. Thank you, Kitty. Oh, the organization for young girls aged 12 to 18 was Rainbow Girls, which was an offshoot of the Mason Eastern Stars. That is fascinating. And we are appreciating the border, right? I mean, look at that. Those are little like Prairie Point scallop things. They're scallops, but they're floppy, It's really, 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 really great. Ivy Kadivy was a rainbow girl. See, Ivy, you should come on the show and we can do the Oddfellows show and you can talk about that if you want to. But it's secret. Isn't it secret? Can you even tell us that? Ivy, should we be scared for you? Okay, and the last thing, you guys, here is this. So this is a painting, and it is Elizabeth Osborne who made this painting, Still Life with Amish Quilt. She made it in 1985, and it was priced at $80,000. $80,000. I don't know more about her. I think I no, of course I would have Googled her and looked at her stuff to see if she was, one of those people that painted quilts a lot, but I didn't see that to be true. I might have not seen everything I needed to see, but but I'm pretty sure I would have started a folder of her. It's going to Lincoln and then having Eric be so ill. It's been a couple weeks of like not remembering what I might have put onto my computer, but regardless, she made this painting and it sold for more than any of the quilts, which, okay. I mean, okay. Yeah, I mean, it's the Amish quilt behind the flowers, you know? It's a lot of money. I know. I mean, yeah, Ivy, you did. I want to know more. Out of stock. Yeah, out of stock, indeed. It's true. Okay, so, and one last thing about this Masonic thing, Bonnie, when you said Girl Scout quilts, I was looking around for Girl Scout quilts once. I don't know, it was a while ago, but I mean, if you ever come across like old school like Girl Scout quilts, that would be really fun to look at. Okay, so let us continue. And now we're gonna get into movie night. I hope you all have popcorn left. I'm just so happy to be here. I can't stand it. I just can't stand it. I'm chatty. So I left this here so we're gonna watch our show. But this was the intro quilt for last week when the stream didn't work at the hotel. But this is a backgammon quilt. And I was thinking of Eric, and he and I played backgammon. He taught me how to play backgammon, and I love it. And this was made in Lincoln, Nebraska, this quilt, by, I have her name, but I don't know where it is. But it was made in Lincoln, Nebraska, and it's at the Quilt Museum. And it's a backgammon quilt. And I think it's great. That's all. Okay, so here we are. We are going to watch, I love these old shows. I love the old, shows. And last week, wait, before I do this, hold on now. Hold on. Okay, let me go back over here. One second. Okay, I gotta go like this. I gotta do something. I gotta refresh it. No. We went to the Quilt Museum, right? And we saw Penny McMorris. One of the things that we did was we listened to Penny McMorris give her her keynote address, and I wanted to watch a throwback video from Penny McMorris that weekend or that week, because we were going to meet her, and I didn't get to meet her because I had to leave, and that was a real drag because I really think she's neat. But did you all see did some of you see her talk? Because I didn't want to be a nuisance, I couldn't get a camera right up in her face or anything. So, if you see tapes of lectures on YouTube, unless it's a film about a person, you can't see them very well. But I think you could hear her pretty well when she gave her keynote address. And she talked about the founding of the museum and how she, Penny McMorris, helped the James family and the Robert and Artis James to build their quilt collection. She helped them build their quilt collection. She was right there from the beginning. And Robert and Artis James went on to found the International Quilt Museum, where I was last week. If you were around, while all that was going on, all this makes perfect sense to you. I hope I'm not losing anybody, but this wonderful museum we keep talking about. Penny McMorris is in her 70s now. She's my mom's age. And she is this luminary. She's this really fascinating woman who helped this Robert and Artis James, Mr. and Mrs. James, build their quilt collection. And she was really instrumental in getting, helping them become aware of the art quilt movement that was happening. She was excited by art quilts. She was interested in them. In the 1980s, there were all these wonderful things happening with quilts. People were experimenting with materials, and they were experimenting with form and theme and all this stuff. And she was super into it. She's so cool. And then if you're a quilt maker, you may know her because she had a show on television back in the 80s. She had a couple different shows, Quilting with Penny McMorris and The Great American Quilt. And this is an episode of of that show, and with Penny McMorris in her youth, as she's a spring chicken is what she is. Thank you. So we're gonna watch it because it leads into the second part of the show tonight. Yeah, there's a second part. We're only in the first. We're in the second part. There's a third part. Okay, so we're gonna watch this, and I'm going to enjoy it with you.
Fashion fabrics where innovation is a tradition.
Hold on.
Major funding for the Great American Quilt is provided by Fairfield Processing Corporation, maker of Polyfill brand products for crafting. By RJR Fashion Fabrics, where innovation is a tradition. By New Home, changing the way America sews. By Keepsake Quilting, publishers of the Keepsake Quilting Catalog, the Quilter's Wish Book. By American School of Needlework Incorporated, publisher of books in all areas of needlework. And by Lehman Publishing, publisher of Quilter's Newsletter Magazine.
Hey!
For quilt lovers.
Whoa, no. Sorry. Okay. Here we go. By the way, I think someone asked, I don't know, thank you. I don't know what year this is. I think it's 1980. See, I don't want to look it up now because then I have to change the screen. Somebody look it up. It's on YouTube. But don't read ahead. Okay, here we go. Very Ken Burns, right? Doesn't it look like I'm pushing them?
Hi, thanks for taking time to be with us today.
You saw her, remember? That's her. What a good-looking gal.
We've got a good show for you beginners as well as you more experienced people because our theme today is simplicity. We'll be talking not only about quilts just made with squares right together, but about 9-patch quilts. Diane and Laura are going to show you their very quick method of putting together a 9-patch block. And then we'll see how Amish women have used the 9-patch in some really wonderful quilts. We'll be looking at quilts from the Esprit Corporation.
Oh! Think that might be what we look at next? A little Esprit Collection action, maybe?
Collection. Then, since my theme and idea for the show is simplicity, I wanted to just look at one artist's work toward the end of the show. Her name is Rebecca Shore, and I think she does some very pure and very strong work that kind of pushes the square a little bit forward.
Grouchos.
I got the idea for concentrating just on squares
We do,
when
Susan.
I got a Christmas card from a friend of mine. He had a little quilt block in the Christmas card. When I opened it up, this little block fell out, and it just seemed...
Her voice, like when she started talking 1,000 years ago when we were at the museum in Nebraska, I was like, because her voice is so sweet, and it's, hi, I'm Penny McMorris, and I have this nice voice. I can't do it yet, but I will by the end of it.
seemed so really pure and
then she takes it down. Yeah.
kind of delicate that I thought, why haven't we been concentrating a little bit more on some of the simpler designs? You know, quilts can be very, very plain as well as very ornate. And often when I go to quilt shows lately, I seem to notice the very ornate, very decorative quilts. It's kind of a trend that's going on lately, and that's...
You little scamp, because she was really, I'm not saying I'm just saying that, yeah, that's an understatement, right? Because we know that she was helping the Jameses build their collection.
great. But I'm going to step back just a little bit and look at some of the simpler quilts today because they can be very, very beautiful. And I want you to understand that you can make quilts however you want. It's okay to make them in squares.
Yes.
In fact, making simple squares like this and putting them together is probably the way that most of you got started. If you're anything like me,
need to do that.
I found myself one night just putting squares together without even knowing what I was doing, not knowing what way to do it. My quilt kind of looked like that too.
And she said in her talk last week that she's only made like 6 quilts. And if you didn't hear it, what she said was that she made a few, and she was like, but she was seeing all of these amazing quilts out there as she was collecting and looking and, you know, just really super into it, right? Because, like, remember what I said at the top of the show, we're super into this stuff because there's just so much to look at and think about and all that. And she was like, I started to see work that was being done, and I was like, there's no way I can make things as good as this, and I would much rather help people get their work out. You know, she wanted to be in it, but she knew that she wasn't a great maker. And I had to tell you, I'm the same way. I am not a great quilt maker by any stretch. I used to make quilts a lot. I made them, and they were like for the publication stuff, but that doesn't mean that I'm and I'm not being falsely modest. Literally, this is a better use of me and my quiltness than making quilts. So I'm just saying, I get it, Penny.
By the time I was done, but the kids have liked it, and the cat right now is actually out in the garage, sick, sleeping on this little quilt. So go from the basics and find something that works well for you. Put it together block by block, or you can put little squares together to like make a real patchwork.
It looks like it's like murdery, like it's coming out of an alley to get you in the 80s.
Block. Along with putting squares together a whole row at a time, you can also organize them so that the squares are sewn together into blocks, which is kind of a more portable patchwork. This quilt is called a 16-patch quilt because it contains squares that are made up of 16 smaller squares, really 4 rows of 4. Blocks like this 4-patch were traditionally beginners' quilt blocks. They were the first patchwork that little girls like my great-grandmother learned to sew. I like to think that the reason she looks so pensive is that she's thinking of all that sewing she has to do. Because girls this young and even younger were expected to help their mothers with the family sewing. And they also had to begin sewing quilt tops, sheets, towels, and so on to save until they themselves were married. It was a source of pride to have sewn a bed-sized quilt top by the age of 5 or 6.
Yeah, Molly, me too.
On my 5th birthday, I had finished all but 3 patches for a quilt, and Papa was so anxious that I should get it all done on that day that he said he would make one for me if I would make 2.
Okay.
Mother always bought needles and thread and dry goods and put them to good use making clothes for the family and teaching my sister and me to sew. Before I was 5 years old, I had pieced one side of a quilt, sitting in her knee half an hour a day, and you can be sure she insisted on tiny stitches.
One woman recalled many years after the event how she lost the quilt block she'd been making when she was a girl.
I just had a thought. I bet you that little girl speaking was Penny McMorris's daughter. I don't know if she has children, but if she does, she for sure was like, honey, would you like to be a voiceover person for the show next week? And the girl was like, oh my God, yes, I'm a TV.
Mother would give me tiny scraps to put in my quilt blocks that Grandmother Smith was showing me how to make.
Molly.
I was making a 9-patch block, and sometimes I had to piece the pieces in order to get a little block, 1-inch square. One day, we had been playing down by the shed where we kept old Lena, the cow. I forgot to take my basket in the house with me, and when I went to get it, it was gone. Mother said she was afraid Lena had eaten it. I think that was the greatest loss I ever had in my life.
Oh, wow.
And to this day, I remember how badly I felt.
Today we sew for the fun.
I don't have a sound cue for that. That's terrible.
But we must remember that less than 100 years ago, sewing was often a duty rather than an entertainment.
Every young girl should be taught to do the following kinds of stitch with propriety.
Oh, look at the cat. Look, is that a cat? Wait a minute. Look, hold on. It's a cat or I don't know what that is. Uh-oh. What is that thing? But I've seen a lot of cat, and you see up here? I can't zoom in on it. You see by the box? See my cursor? I think it's a cat. I don't know. It looks a little scary. Let's move on. I don't know what that is.
Overstitch, hemming, running, felling, stitching, backstitch and run, button stitch, chain stitch, whipping, darning, gathering, and cross stitch.
Now we've got sewing machines so we can let them do the work and concentrate on the fun parts, which is color and design. Since we've been talking about simplicity, I wanted to look with you at some of the most simple and beautiful quilts that I know. Quilts
Exactly,
by the
Liz.
Amish. And the best place I know to find quilts that are hanging all together is in the Esprit Corporation collection. And this is their big book. I know their curator, Julie Silber, and so I asked Julie to send me some slides so we could look at some quilts that are nine-patch quilts. But you see, in this great big book, and if any of you have this one or borrow it from the library, it's definitely not a book that you would want to read in bed because it would crush your nose, I think, if you fall asleep while you're reading like I do.
You'll crush your nose. Don't fall, you might fall asleep and crush your nose. I just wanted to say that this book, I've seen this book at a friend's house, and it's wonderful and it's big, and I don't know if it's available or not. I looked once and it was very expensive, but maybe it's available again. I don't know. It's not on the Abe Books affiliate link list. If it's available through Abe Books, let me know and I'll make an affiliate link.
But look at the beautiful, simple designs that they do with squares. They really excel in using proportion and using very subdued color in a very beautiful way. Esprit, of course, is the clothing firm, so you would really expect them to be sensitive about fabric since they're using it every day and making their clothes. And they really are. You notice it when you walk into the building. Their building is a reconstructed winery, and it's beautiful kind of tones of...
Are you guys seeing this? We're going to see better pictures of this in a second, but I mean, this is the Esprit headquarters. Okay, I know you heard her say it, but if you don't know it, this is a very famous collection. But Esprit, the clothing company, right? This is in the 80s now.
Wood all over, and they've got plants and rugs on the floor. But I've got to admit, it's the quilts that really take your breath away when you enter the building. And you can find them all over there in offices and outside in hallways. For those of you who know about taking care of quilts, Julie does change them from time to time. So if you're ever in San Francisco, even if you've seen the collection before, because you can go and tour it, you'll often see different quilts on different walls because they are changed a lot. Isn't this a wonderful one? When Esprit decides they're going to give their quilts away, this is the one that I want. Now that you've seen how beautiful a 9-patch...
What if I went to Penny? What if I was at... what if I went up to her at the gala party or something, was like, so Penny, did you get that quilt? It's like, I'm sorry? Hello, you are? Be like, I'm Mary Fons. Just wanted to know, your favorite quilt. You know the one in the book. Did you get it? Like, what if I was like, your favorite Amish quilt? You remember? It was red. And like, I describe it and I'm like, did you get it? I mean, it would be so creepy, right? If I was like, I've seen every show you've ever done. It's this quilt right here. And then I was like, I got it. I don't know what's happening. I don't know.
Can be. Laura and Diana are going to show you, believe it or not, how simple it is to make. And it all begins just with strips.
Okay.
Oh, great, Diane. I see you've got all those fabrics cut and ready for us to go. Today.
So now they do a tutorial part, okay? And we're gonna skip it. We're gonna watch all of these at some point. But you know, it's interesting. We've never watched a how-to thing on this show. And I'm gonna save that. I'm gonna save that idea. I'm gonna go to the Amish stuff, okay? I'm gonna go to the Esprit Collection now because we just saw that thing. And then if we're feeling it, we can watch the rest of the show. Because she does another section. She does a section on right here. Hold on. Dun, dun. She does this.
Should really turn you on.
Oh.
It's a great block.
You're going to love this possibility. I'll show you in just a second because I want you to get the overall idea that some of you are small print people, some of you are big tropical print people.
So yeah, there's 10 minutes left. We'll totally watch the rest of that after the Esprit portion. But there's really, really, really beautiful quilts to see. Do you all remember Esprit? I do. Oh, I do. Yeah, I'll save the how-tos, Threadist, right? We should do like I don't know, maybe we could do like a how-to Tuesday or something like that. And like, I don't know. That's not really what the show's about, but we should totally watch some tutorials. The problem is with the tutorials is they have to be old enough. Like, I don't want to, I mean, we don't make fun of people here, but like if a bunch of people were watching like a Quilty episode that I had done or a Fons and Porter episode like live and we're like, because everybody does things differently. You know, there's a million ways to do a half square triangle. There's just a lot of different ways to do it, and you do it differently depending on the quilt that you're making, or like or really who taught you. It totally depends on who taught you how to make a quilt, how you make quilts. And like if somebody was like watching a tutorial video that I had made and like there was a bunch of people in a chat room being like, I can't believe she did that, or like, oh, it annoys me so bad when people do that. I don't know, like it could get, like the vibe could be weird. I don't want it to be weird, you know what I'm saying? So we'll see. I don't know, maybe there's a way to do it. Does the book have a Texas star in the front? No, I don't believe it does, Quilty Mouse. Oh, well, maybe you're talking to someone else. Yeah, you're not talking to me. Okay. So here's what we're going to be looking at after we take a short break. I've got pictures from the Esprit Collection. I've got stuff to read to you from Julie Silber, the great Julie Silber, who curated the Esprit Collection, who I consider a friend. I do. I consider her a friend. I do. Yeah, I mean, look at how about that, right? These are pictures from the 1980s of the Esprit Collection in the Esprit headquarters in San Francisco. So I'm going to run to the ladies. And Kenny's here. Kenny, you're the best. Yeah. So I'll be right back, okay? And it's not just the Esprit Collection, it's Susie Tompkins. I'm just going to give you a teaser here. Susie Tompkins and Doug Tompkins were the Esprit founders. They were the people who were into these quilts. They put them all over the Esprit. Look at this beautiful place. And while I was looking at auction quilts, it's all tying in together. The Sotheby's quilts that we looked at, okay? Let me get big, hang on. The Sotheby's quilts that we looked at were auction site quilts. Well, I was looking at a different auction site and I found quilts from the Esprit Collection that are for sale right now. That's right. I'm not going to tell you where. You got to come back. You got to come back after these messages. Be right back, quick. it's very yellow. It'll calm down. Yikes. All right. Very golden. It's like I'm in the Esprit room. Okay. Hey, nice. Okay, you found the Amish book and you ordered it. That is very good. I also need to order it, and I need to make a an affiliate link. I mean, I need to do it. Okay. Let's get small. I'm small. Help, I'm small. I think the lights will calm down if I get a sorry, I don't know. Sometimes it's a computer. That's what my mom says about Scrabble, the dog, when someone's like, is she, you know, it's like, oh, is Scrabble okay? You know, she looks sad. And mom's like, she's a dog. She's fine. I mean, she's not like being cruel, but yeah. Yeah, it's a computer. It does the things that it does. Okay, so we're talking about the Amish quilt. Now, I saw when I just sat down, somebody said that it looks like, this quilt looks like that tumbling blocks quilt we saw, that we've seen a million times, right? I mean, I don't know. Is it? You guys, is it that damn quilt? Is it the quilt? Did the quilt come back the very next day? The quilt came back. They thought he was a goner, but the quilt came back. That quilt, if this quilt shows up, if this is that one, that tumbling block quilt, the thing is though, does anybody, I mean, I can cross-reference, but like, I've got that book over in my office. You know what I had to do? I had to do I'm doing the show from the conference room in the office because, I don't know, Eric, if you're out there, we got a problem. It's summertime now, and there's noise on that street, and there's going to be noise on that street for the next 3 months. Like loud stereos, yeah. So I carried everything into here because that was not going to work. That was about 10 minutes before I went live. It was super cool. Anyway, so let's get in here. Here's what the deal is. Now, many of you know about this. Many of you know about this Esprit Quilt collection, okay? Well, you're about to know a lot more about it. So I'm going to read to you from the Quilt Museum website. Actually, what I'm going to do, so they have information about the Esprit Collection at the Quilt Museum, of course, because they have everything and you should be a member. What if this whole show was just like a ploy? What if I was being like paid like thousands of dollars just to make this show like a membership drive? It's not, but it is, but it's not. I mean, it's not. Okay, so I'm going to read from Julie Silber, okay? From Julie Silber, a blog post that Julie Silber wrote for a blog called A Life Lived Forward, which is like it's a seniors kind of like lifestyle blog thing. I don't know that much about it, but it's called A Life Forward. A Life Lived Forward, okay? And Julie wrote this piece in 2019, okay? Kenny's driving through Missouri. So many signs for quilt shops, he says. I was really disappointed I couldn't stop. I wish you could stop. I really wish you could stop. Wait a minute. Who is saying, let's see, hold on. The quilt that comes back belongs in the horror movie. Scrappus, you've been around. Or Scrappitude, you've been around. You know about the Quilt Maker horror movie we're going to write. You're an OG. If you come to Chicago, you're definitely invited on the show. So Julie Silber wrote this in 2019, and I'm going to read from her as I show you pictures from this article and pictures of other Amish quilts, because all of this is tying back into an auction site. So we're going to look at this collection of Esprit quilts and learn about it, and then we're going to go back, okay? From Julie Silber in 2019. This is the story of how 82 masterpiece quilts made about 100 years ago by Amish women in Lancaster County left Pennsylvania and came home again. Because you see there's another exhibit that was mounted. Okay, in the early 1970s, antique American quilts began to be appreciated for their graphic qualities. Until then, quilts were generally understood as simply functional bed coverings, and their beautiful designs were not much thought about. In the final decades of the 20th century, however, people began to see and appreciate quilts as works of art. Julie continues, quilts were collected in great numbers and were often as hung on walls like paintings as they were used on beds in the 70s, she's saying. Quilts began to be featured in art galleries and some major American museums, including the Whitney Museum in New York. Sorry, hey, excuse me. Thank you. Yeah, and quilts were the focus of art exhibitions. Look at those colors. I mean, come on now. You know what? If you make quilts today, believe me, Padma, I thought about that with the sound. I'm a shill. So, yes. Okay, he's got cats are a theme tonight. Kenny's got cats in the car. Oh, that's great. Okay. So if you make quilts today, then you know how many colors of solid fabrics we have to choose from, and how there are hand-dyed fabrics you can buy. And of course, some of you dye your own fabric, and I've seen many quilts where the maker was hand-dyeing themselves. But I mean, look, this is a detail shot of one of these quilts that Julie used in the exhibition, or that's in the show, in the collection. And I mean, are you seeing this? Look at that color, and the peach and the pink and green. I mean, this is a famous collection for a reason, and Amish quilts are famous for a reason. Look at that. Come on now. The distinctive quilts. Hold on now. What's going on? Just a minute. It's driving me crazy. I have to do something. I can't not do it. It's so orange. It's kind of bothering me, but oh, I know. Hang on. Yay! Okay, now I gotta take it back down. Sorry, the overhead lights were on. That's what was going on. Hold on. Come on. Get it together. You got this. Don't freak out. Never change the lighting once the show is happening, Mary. Have you learned nothing? There we are. Oh God. Sorry, I'm sorry to interrupt, but it was okay. Great. I'm sorry. Stephanie Cake. Oh no, wait, hold on. Sorry, I accidentally clicked something, but now you're on my screen in a weird way. All right. Anyway, we'll get there. I apologize, but I had to. I care about these things. Remember, one day, producer. It's gonna be great. Okay, you're gonna figure it out. We're going back. We're going back. It's just. Okay. We're back. The distinctive quilts made by the Amish women of Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, between about 1880 and 1950, were the most prized by collectors. Amish women, Julie Silber says, had created quilts of remarkable strength and power and simplicity that were now recognized as American works of art. The Lancaster Amish assembled blocks of store-bought, uniformly colored wool, bought by the yard, and from them created America's first major abstract art, quote unquote. The noted art critic Robert Hughes boldly asserted in his book, American Visions, The Epic History of Art in America. Interesting. He says, quote, their quilts have a soft, swaddling minimalism in which one recognizes a spareness of design, just pulled back from dogmatic rigor by its inventive quirks, a magnificent sobriety of color, and a truly human sense of scale. A magnificent sobriety of color. Pretty good there, Hughes. At the end of the 20th century, quilts made by women of this one particular Amish community in southeastern Pennsylvania during that 70-year period were purchased. Hold on now. Thanks, guys. Sorry about that. Were purchased out of farmhouses by pickers and dealers and sold to collectors all over the US, Europe, and beyond. Within a couple of decades, almost all of the older Lancaster County Amish quilts had new homes. Demand for these quilts was so great that nearly every old quilt left Lancaster County. Oh, chat is clear. Oh, okay, good. Chat, it's a little blurry. Oh dear. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know. Hold on. I lost the chat there when I was messing with the lights. Sorry, guys. No one's looking at my shirt. Yeah, exactly, Granny. I mentioned being on a podcast with Lady Lancaster. Any details? I can give you details. I can't give you details of when it airs yet, but I can. I need to know. I don't know when it's going to air, but yes, and I want to mention that later. I mean, I need to look at it later and get that information because I was on Lady Lancaster's podcast. I taped a podcast with her, and she's one of the designers that uses quilts. She lives in Lancaster County and she uses quilts to make clothing, and she had me on her podcast and we talked about the issue, and it was a very interesting conversation, and she was very kind to me. She was nice to me, yes. And one day that will be on and I will figure out when and tell you. At the end of the 20th century, the quilts made by the women of this one particular Amish community in southeastern Pennsylvania were all sold to collectors and dealers. One of these collectors was a young man in San Francisco. Doug Tompkins was in his 30s when he and his wife, Susie, began a women's sportswear business they called Esprit Collection. Doug had grown up with art, and he started buying art when he was still a boy. So when he first saw Amish quilts, he immediately recognized their beauty, historical importance, and design significance. He chose graphic American quilts for his clothing company's art collection and made Lancaster Amish quilts its focus. Now, this one that you saw just a second ago, and this one, and the next two come from Bill Volkening's collection. Okay, Bill Volkening, his blog is Wonky World. Bill, I hired Bill to write for Quilt Folk, one issue, South Carolina issue, and then but he's a big collector, and we should talk about Bill's collection and we should talk about him one of these days. He's got a really interesting quilt collection, very different things. But anyway, so this comes from his blog, and I appreciate you, Bill. By 1990, we looked at that. By 1990, Julie Silber continues. Hold on, I'm getting behind in the chat. Okay. Dee Marie. No, Quilter on Fire is coming up. Yeah. Quilter on Fire is coming up. I can tell you more about that. Sorry. By 1990, Esprit owned more than 350 quilts, most of them antique Amish. That same year, Doug created a coffee table-sized art book on his Lancaster County Amish quilts, which is the one that Penny was looking at, okay? So that was 1990. He also organized a major exhibition of them at the Fine Arts Museum of... Yvonne! I've missed you so much. How are you doing? I'm so glad you're here. I'm like hitting things. Okay. I'm really glad you're here. I still have some of my honey. I use it like sparingly because I don't want to use it up. Okay. It's really good to see you. A few years later, He also organized a major exhibition of these quilts at the Fine Arts Museum of San Francisco. Both the book and the exhibition included 82 carefully selected quilts sharing the title Amish, the Art of the Quilt. The collection was very well received, both critically and popularly. I can't get too further in on this quilt because the resolution is low. A few years later, Doug sold half of Esprit to his wife and changed the focus of his life from business to environmentalism. He moved to a remote part of southern Chile. I believe they got divorced at that time, by the way. And it became Doug's intention to liquidate his entire collection in whole or quilt by quilt in order to invest in his newly founded passion. Fortunately, so all the quilts were going to be dispersed. They got a divorce. It sounds like it was kind of bad. He moved to Chile, like big changes for Doug and Susie. God damn it. Okay, so they were going to be scattered to the wind, right? Fortunately, in 1974, An organization, interesting, had been formed in Lancaster County with the sole purpose of collecting and preserving Lancaster's rich artistic heritage. Keen observers had recognized that much of Lancaster's great art had already left Lancaster County and was now in the hands of private collectors like Doug, or in major U.S. museums. It was the Heritage Center's mission to return these masterpieces to the community. This one, you guys, this one. Susanna! Hi, Susanna. Susanna, we got so much to talk about. Hey, Dee Marie's got the episode up. Episode 66 of Quilter on Fire. I appeared on Brandy Maslowski's wonderful podcast, Quilter on Fire, and Dee Marie's got the link in there. Please listen to it. She is great, and I really appreciated her asking me to be on the show. I love this quilt a lot. It's at the Quilt Museum in Lincoln, and it was also featured in a blog post by Yannick Smucker, who someone mentioned was at the Folk Art Museum this weekend giving a lecture. And so it was through a series of small miracles, the magnificent collection of Doug's quilts made the 3,000-mile journey back home to Lancaster County. In 2002, with the help of some very committed Lancaster citizens and the support of the Lancaster community, the Heritage Center of Lancaster County was able to purchase the iconic collection of Esprits. She puts those in quotes. That's good. Julie's right. They're not Esprits quilts. They're Lancaster County's quilts, right? The 82 best Lancaster Amish quilts that had been selected for the book and exhibition. The quilts, seemingly lost to Pennsylvania forever, came home together where they belong. The former Esprit Collection of Lancaster County Amish quilts, now owned by the Heritage Center of Lancaster County, is widely considered the finest ever assembled. It would be impossible to build a collection of similar quality and magnitude today. Oh, Yvonne. It'd be impossible to do it today at any cost. So today, with these masterpieces in hand, Julie Silber continues, the museum is returning to the community with another appeal. You can help raise funds. Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, this is from 2019, but you can help raise funds for the endowment of the collection. Funds that will generate annual income for the quilt's ongoing care, exhibition, and home in Lancaster County. Perpetual funding source is in place. With this perpetual funding source in place, the quilt collection will continue to tell its story in exhibitions and educational outreach programs for the pleasure of Lancaster's residents and visitors, and through the development of traveling exhibitions, and to become Lancaster County's most colorful and storied ambassadors. Fabulous, Julie Silber. I loved it. It was great. Oh, okay. And this we're going to watch. It's another movie night. There's a 1.5-minute long video about this. So this is how, okay, let's just watch it. And then, oh yeah. Oh, sometimes I got to tell you, sometimes the way I plan the show out does not displease me. Let's put it that way. Okay. Yep, here we go. Oh, it's good. It's so good.
We have
No, you don't. Not yet. You don't have it yet. We have it's 1 minute and 23 seconds.
A collection of 82 Amish antique quilts that were made from the period of 1870 through 1950, all hand-stitched, all in Lancaster County. These quilts came back home to Lancaster in 2002 when the Heritage Center of Lancaster County led a campaign to allow their return. These quilts were collected over a period of time by a gentleman named Doug Tompkins, and Doug was a co-owner of the Esprit Clothing Company in California.
It's been new.
He had a curator working with him, Julie Silber, and Julie is joining us for this very special week as we focus on the importance of this entire collection and raising money for its future endowment care exhibition.
Agreed, Kitty.
The quilts in the past have been shown here at the Lancaster Quilt and Textile Museum, but the most we've ever shown at any one time from the collection are 30 pieces. Today, you'll see all 82.
Wow.
And when you take a look at the exhibition, you'll understand how we accomplished it. Shoemaker PDT was very helpful in helping us stage a revision of an Amish wash line in a very, very creative way.
Isn't that great?
And we're really excited. So the quilts don't just stand there, they actually move.
Isn't that great? Isn't that nice? Yes, I think it's nice.
We have
okay. So there's a little bit of that. So in 2019, that was a thing. I don't know. Everything was fine before. Okay. So the reason that we even looked at the Esprit Collection, okay? The reason that we looked at it is because we were here, remember? We were here with the auction site and the painting. And then we looked at those Sotheby's quilts, including our intro quilt. And then I was like, there's another auction site, and some of the Esprit Collection quilts are for sale. Well, this quilt, oh my God, Molly. Molly says, if I had vast wealth, I'd buy an old church, turn it into a museum, and display them like that. That would be so cool. Just in general, an art gallery in an old, beautiful church. This is a very good idea. Molly, I will help you achieve your dream. That would be incredible. Yes, may you become rich and famous. Indeed. So I'm on this auction site. Not Sotheby's, I'll tell you in a minute. Don't want you to read ahead. Actually, that's a little bit controlling, isn't it? Okay, I found it on Cherish.com. I mean, I don't care. You can do whatever you want. I want you to look. I want you to watch the show, but as long as you're tuned into the show and you go look at Cherish.com and search Susie Tompkins quilts. You can do whatever you want. I want you to buy them. I want you to buy these quilts. But you can also go to the website later. I saw this, I searched Cherish for quilts, and that's CHAIRISH, Cherish, I mean, I bought like a vase from Cherish.com once, but of course I poke in there and I look at what the quilts are. And so there's this quilt for sale at Cherish, and it's strange. It's wool. It's a wool crazy quilt. I mean, it's like felt. Like, what's happening here? You know what I'm saying? Oh, Molly. I mean, listen, get a grant. Get a grant. Just get a grant. It won't be hard. I don't know. I don't know. What if we did it all together? Let's one project at a time, but it would be great to have a church and make a gallery. It would be amazing. So, it's a brilliant idea, Molly. I love it. So this is weird. I mean, it looks like craft felt to me. And, in Hamilton. Oh, nice. Do it. They washed it. Elle Riggs. Elle Riggs is very cool, by the way, you all. I met her. And she's a very snappy dresser. Like, she's like hip. Like, she was wearing clothes and I was like, you're cool and I look like a ragamuffin. So anyway, so here's some more pictures of this quilt. So I'm looking at this stuff. I'm looking at these quilts and I'm like, why do I know that name? I was like, why do I, whoa, what are you doing? I was like, why do I know that name? Why does that sound familiar? There's the quilt too. Let's see, I think this is yeah. So that's the quilt on the wall. So you can kind of see the scale of it. And I was like, Susie Tompkins. And it's Susie Tompkins is selling some of her quilts, or the person who sells quilts for her, with a church or weird quilts. Oh, that it's only weird quilts that could be shown in Quilt Church. Not really, but just wonderful, unusual quilts should be shown. Anyway, and so yeah, so there's some quilts for sale, and we're gonna look at them. And I think so this is one of them, and it's very unusual. But and what's interesting about what's being sold on Cherish from Susie Tompkins' collection is that there are a couple that are very Amish that you'll see in just a minute, but there's this is not, I don't know anything else about this quilt. I do know that it would not be of a piece, with the Amish quilts. I don't know if it is Amish. I don't know anything else about it, but it's very strange and fascinating, right? I mean, I like weird quilts. Would I hang this one in the Quilt Church show? I don't know. I like weird quilts. I like not all weird quilts, but this is pretty interesting. And it's like a blanket stitch around it, right? I mean, I don't know. Does it say, I didn't print out the listing, but but it would seem like it's later. I mean, I don't know. I don't think satin stitch. Thank you. I always do that. I always call a blanket stitch a satin. I always call a satin stitch a blanket stitch. Sorry. Okay. So there are other quilts. Oh yeah. So this is just one more like pretty good detail shot. I mean, what's going on here? It really looks like kind of cheap felt, doesn't it? I don't know. I'm not trying to dog on the quilt, but it's really strange. Okay. What's very weird? Wait a minute. What? What's going on? Kenny went through there today. What happened? Lawrence, Kansas. Lawrence, Kansas. Lots of old churches there. And Kenny just went through Lawrence, Kansas. And you know what? You know who lives in, well, I don't think she lives there anymore, but Barbara Brackman, I believe, lived in Lawrence, Kansas for a long time. And I gotta tell you, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna drop a name. I work hard. I had a really good talk with Barbara Brackman on the phone the other day. We talked for like an hour. That never happened before. I have to talk about it. I talked to her, I've talked to her on the phone like one other time, but that was like business, and we were talking about life, man. We broke down. I have to tell someone who understands. I was like, yeah, I had a really good talk with Barbara Brackman the other day, Eric, and he was like, cool. I was like, yeah, cool. She's the funniest person I've ever met in the quilt world. She's extremely funny. Oh, and we appeared together. Oh, that's another thing. We appeared together on an AccuQuilt live broadcast. The AQSG people, oh my God, I have to mention the AQSG executive director, Carrie Dell, who's totally cool. She asked me and Barbara to go on this AccuQuilt thing to talk about AQSG. Me and Barbara. I've never done an event with Barbara Brackman, so that was really fun. And if you did not know, and if you have not signed up yet, and many of you have, by the way, which is really awesome, the American Quilt Study Group, for the first time ever, we got the first coupon code that they've ever given out for the quilt nerds. And if you want to be a member of AQSG, American Quilt Study Group, the first quilt nerds that ever were, the first organized quilt nerds that ever were, we would be the second organized quilt nerds. I don't know. It's a $75 membership. I know it's not small change, but you get a newsletter every other month. You get the journal, the Uncoverings Journal of peer-reviewed scholarly papers. You get first invite emails to the seminar thing, where Molly and I are going to do a presentation. Molly and I are presenting at AQSG seminar in October. We have a meeting on June 1st. That we do. We've got our Zoom meeting scheduled, and we're going to talk about our thing, and it's going to be really exciting. And the idea for I will talk about the quilt in just a second, but the idea that we have for our presentation happened on this show. If you want a $15 off membership to AQSG for a year, Quilt Nerd 15. Put Quilt Nerd 15 in that coupon code box. And thank you, God, Robin's Nest. Thank you to all my mods. Robin, put the link in the chat. You can go over there right now and you can become a member. And Barbara Brackman wants you to become a member. And I know because we were on that thing on AccuQuilt the other day on their live show, their live stream. And she and I were talking about how great it is. Anyway, okay. So you'll meet Barbara Brackman. That's another thing if you join AQSG. I mean, and you participate. Anyway, so Kelly, you got to do it. And don't forget that coupon code. Okay, L. Riggs says something. This is important. Look, I missed you a lot. So if any of you have to you're like, I don't know, I got to go to sleep. I totally get it. Not like I can see you leave, but I don't know. I just want to be around you. And then, by the way, I can switch the picture. This is just another one of Susie Tompkins' quilts that's on, that is being offered for sale on cherish.com. Okay. And there's wonderful detail shots of it. And that's what we're going to look at while I say that L. Riggs brings up something good. She says, I feel like maybe I'm not smart enough to go to the seminar. I watched some know-it-all episodes this week and was way intimidated. So Julie Silver, who we just talked about, Mary Kay Waldvogel, also known as Quilt Alive, who comes into this show, watches every episode. Yes. and who I saw at the museum last week. Julie Silver, Mary Kay, Barbara Brackman are 3 of the 6 know-it-alls. And the 6 know-it-alls do a show on Facebook Live. And Tara Miller produces that show, and Tara Miller is like hot. She is like hot, you guys, in every way. I mean, I don't want to objectify you, Tara, but you're very beautiful. And she wrote a piece in the Fabric of a Nation book, the MFA, the Museum of Fine Art Boston book. She has it in there. Goals, people, goals. This is a wonderful photograph. Look how great this detail is. Wow. And so she produces, so the 6 know-it-alls is a show where it's like, yeah, it really is like, these are scholars who have been doing quilt stuff for a really long time, you know, and it is kind of intimidating. But Elle Riggs and everybody else, you must know that AQSG can be intimidating. It's true, but the more you know more about quilt history from watching this show, damn it, than you think. And you don't have to. One thing that Molly and I are doing that's really cool, I think, is that we are doing this talk. We're going to do this research and this survey about our stuff, you know, and I mean our as in all of us, this idea that there's a 3rd wave quilt revival happening, and that's been happening since pretty much the time that the iPhone came out and the Modern Quilt Guild started. And then there was the pandemic. You know, we talked about this on this show. It was like, there's, you know, can the revival 50 years ago really still be fueling the quilt ecosystem today? It's always about the quilt revival. But a lot of stuff has happened since then. And so Molly and I are going to look at that. And so, you know, people can be talking about chintz quilts, you know, the 6 know-it-alls know so much about these, like, you know, old quilts, and not all of them, but like Lynn Bassett knows about chintz quilts from the 17th or 18th century or something. You know, she knows about this stuff. I don't really like chintz quilts. This is my ASMR portion of the show. They don't do a lot for me. And so when I see stuff like that from AQSG or, you know, the know-it-alls or anything, I just, you know, I am like, I'm intimidated because they know so much, and I also don't feel much for those quilts. But Elle Riggs, you can like go to seminar and like hang with us, first of all. And you don't have to go to that seminar, which is in the end of September. AQSG has a seminar every year. You don't have to go to that, but you should totally be a member. Okay, that was my pitch. I mean, these are just these wonderful quilts. So AQSG, Quilt Nerd 15, join it. Let's take over that seminar, you know? Let's just do it. But it would be really fun to meet nerds there in San Diego in September. We could hang out. Okay. Oh yeah, YouTube. Yeah, YouTube. Yeah. I think their first episode is actually on my channel. I need to fix that. I haven't thought about that because they couldn't get it going or something, and I was like, just put it on my YouTube. I forget how it happened, but I edited it for them or something like that. I don't know. I gotta fix that actually. I haven't thought about that in a long time. Okay, so here's another Susie Tompkin quilt. So let's move on. There's just a few more quilts. There's just a few more. This one, it blows me away. You can buy this. Does somebody want to go to the site and see what the prices are for these quilts? Myra says, Mary Fons, have we ever discussed Faith Ringgold on the show? I can't remember. Perhaps I missed the episode. No, we have not. And I think it's still up. There's a wonderful exhibit up right now at the New Museum in New York City. So it would be good to do Faith Ringgold soon. I think it ends in June. Yeah, okay. Faith Ringgold. Yeah, we got to do that soon. Faith. Yeah, it's high time. It is high time. Elle Riggs, same. Oh no, Molly, wait, what? Who did that? I used to go to the rare book section in the for the American Library Association, Molly says. I just pretended I knew what a lot of those folks were talking about. And Molly says they also bragged about their endowments at the Ivy they were at, and I rolled my eyes so hard they almost fell out of my head. They bragged about their endowments. I think if you get an endowment, one of the things that you should agree to is that you're not going to like brag. I mean, brag to your mom, you know, brag to your, like, I don't know, whatever. It's exciting, but like, oh, you got that endowment? I got this endowment. It's lame. It's just lame. So yeah, if somebody wants to go to the Cherish site, cherish.com, and look for these quilts, I don't have prices on them, do I? No, I don't. This is from the 40s. Sorry, I've not been telling you the dates of these. 3,200 for this one. Mary, you have to live stream the AQSG for all of us who will not be attending. Oh, 1000%, Padma. Thank you for mentioning that. I'm gonna start now getting permission. They're a little, they do things the way they've done them, you know, for a while. So I will put it out there now that I'm gonna live stream the thing. You know what? It could really be a big deal. Oh my God. Okay, Padma, you're very good. Okay, yeah, live stream AQSG. And you know what? If I work on it now, AQSG, then we can really prepare and be ready. And maybe I can have a setup where like the lectures and stuff I can get up in their faces. So this one I want to make sure. Let's see. Oh man, Quilty Mouse, I see you next week. Yeah. Okay. Well, we're getting there. We're getting close. There you go. So Myra says the Faith Ringgold exhibit is still up. And this quilt, Word and Bird Nerd, are you talking about this one? This is $3,200, this one. Myra says, I love one of the Susie quilts. It's $2,800. Okay, this one, Stephanie Cake, sorry, I got behind it. It's $900 to $4,200. Okay, $900 to $4,200 is the price range we're looking at for these quilts on Cherish from Susie. Let me get going. Look at those reds. I mean, and 1940, I love that. I mean, 1940s quilts is, you see a lot of quilts from 1890, you know, 1900, 1870, 1930, but you know, 1940, like it's just that set of numbers, 1940, 1945, you just don't see as many unless you're looking at like World War II quilts and stuff. And they're just, I don't know, it was that time where a lot of quilts were being made. A lot of quilts have always been made, but there were fewer because World War II, women were working, victory gardens were important, knitting socks for soldiers were important. You know, it was a different time in America where the quilt output was not quite what it was before or after. Yeah, I mean, this one, Triple Irish Chain, 1940s. This looks like it could have been in, you know, the Esprit Collection. It's very Amish looking, I would say. But it's not part of that exhibit, that the Heritage Center in Lancaster County. Look at that, isn't that sweet? Wow, there's some crazy moraying happening. Better get closer. Little Bird Stitch. So the museum in Lancaster closed. Whoa, does anyone know where the Esprit Collection is now? Now, okay, perhaps. Wait, I have something else. No. That last thing was in 2019. Does anybody know? Her paintings, Stephanie Cake mentions that the paintings are also available. So Susie Tompkins also on Cherish has some paintings available, and I love them. She collected paintings like portraits of women, like a very specific style of portrait of women. I love them so much. I really do hope one day that I just have buckets of money. I don't know. Gotta figure something out. It doesn't just fall off trees. But I want art, you know, I do. I don't know. I just do. And those paintings, I love them. Here's the back of this one. I gotta get in pretty close because the computer is like, what are you doing? I don't know if you can really see that very well, so let's continue. Oh yeah, okay, so this one's great. This is not for sale. So that was the end of those quilts. This one I found just rolling around the internet. I was rolling around the internet and I found it. This is so cool, isn't it? And it's from the Tompkins collection. It's not the one for sale, but I found it. I swear that I did. I mean, this is just like, this is a QuiltCon quilt, you know, or this is a modern quilt guild looking quilt. It just looks so minimalist, whatever, but I mean, it's totally from the Tompkins collection. Or is this one for, I don't think, is this one? Now I can't think. Cherish.com. Yeah, Myra's got the links in there. People are putting the links in there so fast. It's true. Yes, please. Mother Nature says about the museum, I will ask my Lancaster friend. They are cool portraits. The stitches. I wonder, Susan R. Michael says, I wonder if the rise in craft and quilting movement owes a debt of gratitude to Martha Stewart magazine and the HGTV back in the day. Carol Duvall, and of course, Alex Anderson. 1,000%. I would say, and yeah, Susan, totally, because well, I mean, Martha Stewart is an interesting one. She really is, because she wrote the introduction to the book, the Red and White Infinite Variety book, the Red and White exhibit, the Joanna S. Rose collection, and she wrote the introduction to that. And she has had quilts on her show and stuff, and I believe she collects them. She has a collection, but she's never been like in the quilt world. You know, she's Martha Stewart, but it's an interesting thing. I would love to know what quilts Martha Stewart has, you know, in her house or in her world. So this is it. I think this is the last quilt I have from the Tompkins. Oh yeah. Not quite, but almost. So then in 1995, there's a PDF, and I will find the link for it. It's this. Okay, so this is the final moment of this. This is an exhibit from 1995. Okay, this quilt is obviously the best quilt that ever was. Oh my God, Little Bird Stitch. I think you need to get this quilt. You need to take a screenshot or something. Or actually, I'm going to put a link in the chat that is the link to this PDF. What I'm showing you right now is a PDF of this exhibit that was at the Johnson County Community College Gallery of Art in 1995. Okay, because you need this to be your screensaver or something. And Word and Bird Nerd. I mean, hello, you need it. Yeah, you need it. Julie and Joe Cunningham, who are very good friends, Joe Cunningham and Julie Silver, they're both in San Francisco, Julie's in Berkeley, whatever, curated this show together. I'm going to, Felt Like Sweets brings up a good point about Martha Stewart. Indeed, Mara Ambrose was featured in what was it called? There was a contest or something, and Mara Ambrose who's lovely, by the way, was featured. She was one of the winners. It was not Crafted America. That's the PBS thing. Mara Ambrose. We have to talk about Mara Ambrose. But she's a really neat modern style quilter. She's not a super big part of the modern quilt guild world, but she makes quilts that 1,000%. She's a very successful commercial quilt designer and maker. I am going to hide the chat for a second. Yeah, hold on. No, I'm not. So this was an exhibit of quilts from Susie Tompkins' collection in 1995, and Julie and Joe Cunningham curated it. Okay, so look at this quilt with like a coffee cup or something. Like, it looks like it's a coffee cup. It's not. I mean, I don't know if it is, but this is one of the quilts featured in this little catalog, you know, for the exhibit. And I will find the PDF. In fact, Robin, or Word and Bird, or one of my mods, if you want to, if you could, this is the PDF. And I definitely found it on the internet because I printed it off from the internet. And let me go. It's called Maverick Quilts. That's the exhibit. It's a 4-page PDF, and it's what we're looking at right now. So if you can find it and put the link in the chat, that would be great. Let's take a look at this other quilt that they have. And of course, they have a lot of a lot of information here, really wonderful information about the quilts that they have in the exhibit, and then these. I'm going to hide the chat so you can see this quilt because it's kind of hard to show with the chat. Isn't that lovely? So this is a crazy quilt, 1920, 63 by 78 collection of Susie Tompkins, San Francisco. So this 1995 was after they divorced, right? Susie Tompkins and Doug Tompkins were the creators of Esprit, and then he freaked out and moved to Chile. No, I'm kidding. I mean, I don't know what happened. And I feel like, sorry, I have to go here, and then I have to go here. Yeah, and there's one more page of this PDF. This. Broken Dishes, look at that. By Myrtle Avis Jackson, Moon, Robinson County, Tennessee, 1910. Look at that. Look at that quilt. Look at that thing. All those pieces. Look at that little thing. God, it's so good. Hey, you know what? Padma points out that that coffee cup breaks my mom's rule of if you have a scrap quilt, every color needs to have a friend somewhere else in the quilt. This has many friends, but it's true that this one does not. But it's an accent, you know? I mean, it really is this pop of, and red doesn't count, Padma. Red doesn't count because red is red. And if you have a little pop of red in a quilt that has no other red in it, you're totally fine. That's my rule. My mom's rule is the friend rule. My rule is it's totally cool except for red. So this, yeah, I mean, this quilt is perfect. And this quilt, by the way, we do know who made it. And it was a woman, and her name was, I mean, look at this thing. God. I just want to fill the screen with it. Let's fill the screen with it. Those little birds. You know what? Little Bird Nerd, or Word and Bird Nerd and Little Bird Stitch. You're gonna have to fight for it. But that would be a great logo for you, an insignia. God, what if they just become arch enemies trying to fight for that? But look, it's so wonderful. It would be an amazing, be amazing. This was made by Blanche Ransom Parker from Carroll County, Tennessee, and she made it in the 1940s. There you go. Kelly asked me, is there any interest in a show on the famous Dear Jane quilt from Vermont? 1,000%. Hey, oh no. Here, let's do that. Yes, Dear Jane. I can't believe we haven't done Dear Jane yet. And you know what? Another thing, I said it before, I love doing this show because I learn things. And I've never really dug into the Dear Jane thing. I never really have. Penny Catherine says, brilliantly, a red moment is like a red lipstick. Mwah. Oh, a kiss sound would be good. Padma's always said we need like a sexy sound on the soundboard. I agree. Okay, so y'all, that's it. That's what I got. Susie Tompkins auctioning off some quilts on cherish.com. If any of you buy one, literally I'm emailing her to be like, hi, I did marketing for you. Come on, Susie, come through. All right. Remember this? Remember how we got here? It's all a path. It's all a pathway. Let's finish the show because I missed you. I'm not leaving yet. And I am going to play the rest of that Penny McMorris show. 10 minutes. It's 10 minutes. We're out. It's movie night. That's what's happening. Great, we're right there. It's queued up. It's queued up. It's all queued up. Look at these ladies. Aren't they great? Okay. Felt Like Sweets, by the way, says from the MQG website, quote, a defining event in modern quilting occurred in 1998 when Martha Stewart Living featured Denise Schmidt. Oh, that's it. It's Denise. Denise Schmidt. What was it, 1998? Denise Schmidt. She featured Denise, calling her quilts, they had a chic modernist aesthetic, she said. For many quilters in the early days of the movement, this was a key inspirational moment. We haven't talked about Denise. Also, lovely. Look at all this. Look at this. That looks like fart. It's not. I put that up there and I was like, what did I write? And it's not that. I don't even want to say it's Faith Wrinkle. It does not. Okay. Let's finish this out, y'all. This is good stuff. This is really good stuff. I have had such a blast. I can't tell you how much I needed this. Missed you. Oh, the likelihood of Quilter's newsletter Friday next week. Okay. I usually have my planner right here because I had to come to the conference room, so I didn't think to bring it. Hang on. I'm going to get it. Just hang on. I want, yes, like the answer is yes, but if I say yes and then I realize like I have something, it's just not cool. So here's what we're going to do. Oh, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to play this video and I'll be right back with my planner because I want to confirm that Quilter's Newsletter Friday is happening next week. I just want to get back to the show and you, okay? Okay, enjoy. Be right back.
And we just hope that you'll have fun with it.
Oh, the 9 patch should really turn you on. It's a great block.
You're going to love this possibility. I'll show you in just a second because I want you to get the overall idea that some of you are small print people, some of you are big tropical print people like Vivian Ritter. This is from Evergreen, Colorado. She made this for her daughter, and this is the part, this is like making beds. Get down there. It is huge. It's 168 blocks. This is the part that I wanted you to take a look at.
It's on. Quilter's Newsletter Friday is on. It's back on next Friday, okay? That's June 3rd. So we've got Tuesday, the 31st of May, last day of May. Molly and I have a meeting on Wednesday. Susanna and I will be having meetings, at least one. And Friday the 3rd, Quilter's Newsletter Friday. I'll put it on the schedule. And Saturday, 8 p.m. show, just like tonight. Sorry, I'm just really glad. Okay.
She's done a 9-patch label. This is her daughter, Kelly. And probably embarrassingly enough to Kelly, it also comes with her baby picture for posterity. We'll always have this on there. Vivian made this for her daughter's graduation. And we'll be showing you a lot more labels by Vivian.
I like that. I like that color scheme. It's very 80s. It works for me. There was a time I just couldn't stand that 80s color scheme, you guys. It's all coming back.
And later, she wrote a book on labels. Let's see if I can get this monster back in here. This is only half the quilt. Kelly must have a bed that never ends because this is a big fellow. Here is one that is completely different. The idea behind this one is the 9-patch as a picture.
Oh.
So a 9-patch doesn't always just have to be a design. This is kind of an abstracted picture of a flower garden. This is by Suzanne Chelland. Suzanne is from Gig Harbor, Washington, and she is a hand dyer. So she dyed all the fabric for this quilt. And then she has done some quilting, what's called quilting in the ditch, which is done with a machine or by hand, but it's just in the...
Whoa! Was Penny McMorris in a fight? Wait, hold on, sorry. Look. Hold on.
Those little stitch is done with...
Look at her knuckles, look. Penny amped herself up. Oh,
or by hand, but
what's going on? What's going on with your nut? Okay. I don't know. I mean, I can see it.
In those little spaces. We'll be showing you in a later program how you can do these graduated colors with dyeing. And this I love. This is a gorgeous quilt also. Another big fellow. Try to get that out for you so you can see it.
She totally punched something.
Again, the idea behind this is a picture. As you can see here, the 9-patch blocks coming right up here. Think of these.
I dig that. I dig it. I do. Do you all like that? I mean, I know it's got a look to it that might, but I don't know. It's so funny. It would look so hopelessly uncool to me 20 years ago. And 30 years ago, I'd be like, but there's something about it that it is becoming, I know this is going to freak everybody out, it's becoming vintage. It is. What do you think? I'm doing a poll, okay? I'm going to put a poll up here. And we're going to do a poll because we're doing everything I want to do tonight. Okay, we're doing a poll. Hang on. New tab. New tab. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. Everything's fine. Everything's happening. We're going to go up, and I'm going to go back to when she brings this thing out. Okay. We're going to look at her knuckles because she's been in a fight. And I'm going to make a poll. Okay. It's just going to take me 1 second. I didn't have it pulled up, but that's fine. I can do it right here. And I'm going to do it over here. And we're going to, and maybe I can phrase it so it's not just this quilt. I know. Okay, new poll. Maybe we'll say, no, we gotta be specific. Okay, hang on.
Bases. We'll be showing you in a later program how you can do these graduated colors with dyeing. And this I love. This is a gorgeous quilt also. Another big fellow. I'll try to get that out for you so you can see it. Again, the idea behind this is a picture.
This is a 2-minute poll.
See, here are the 9 patch
2 minutes.
Coming right up here. Think of these as flowers, like hollyhocks or delphiniums, one of those big, tall, gorgeous flowers. And what she's done to make these is make 9 patch blocks like this.
Poll is live.
Are little pieces cut out of. Believe it or not, this is a traditional block that Kathleen McCready, she's from Austin, Texas, she made this quilt. She found this in an old quilt block. And notice right next to it here is a log cabin block, and that's the subject of next week's program. I've got a beautiful quilt back here.
Okay, poll's still live. We're just going back one more time.
In those little spaces.
One more time. This is the last time.
We'll be showing you in a later program.
I need you to really think about it.
How you can do these graduated colors with dyeing. And this I love. This is a gorgeous quilt also. Another big fellow. I'll try to get that out for you so you can see it. Again, the idea behind this is a picture. As you can see, here are the 9 patch blocks coming right up here. Think of these as flowers, like hollyhocks or delphiniums, one of those big, tall, gorgeous flowers. And what she's done to make these is make 9 patch blocks like this that are little pieces
you got just a little time left to vote.
Believe it or not, this is a traditional block.
Are you into it or not?
Kathleen McCready, she's from Austin, Texas. She made this quilt. She found this in an old quilt block. Sorry. And notice right next to it here is
label
a log
the quilt,
cabin
Susan
block,
says.
and that's the subject.
Thank you.
Of next week's program.
Almost done. Time's running out. I've got a little timer thing, and it's going.
Quilt back here before I open this one up for
30 seconds, 20 seconds.
And people are really
Where's the poll? It's up at the top. Up at the top of the chat.
Their quilt. And when I open it up,
it's up at the top of the chat.
It's a very simple
Click
design.
on it.
And that's the idea I'm trying to get across to you is that you can do very simple. You don't have to put every color in the rainbow.
people.
You can do some simple designs with these great squares.
Says yes.
She's put little tiny 4 patch blocks.
View results.
Here. And it just makes a very elegant, kind of a quiet
78%
quilt. So you can
of you.
Be quiet too. You can be tropical, or you can be
78% of you loved it.
Whatever you want your quilt to be.
78% of you loved it.
Now, I was intrigued by this little 4-patch because it reminded me.
One person said that they made it.
This antique quilt that I had. This is a 4-patch in this quilt. I bought this maybe 15 years ago for just about $20. And it's a very typical quilt. Take a look at this kind of hot pink fabric, because I'm willing to bet if you've got a quilt of this era, you probably have some of this fabric in it. And it's interesting to me that it looks really contemporary because it's hot pink. It surprises people. And it's such a popular fabric that it's still being used today. This is Diane and Laura's block, one of their 9 patches. And I wanted Rod to take a look at this quilt and tell us a little bit more about this really popular hot pink fabric. I wanted to show you this quilt. I think I got it.
You know what? You know what it is? Oh, is this Rod Kirikoff? I think it is. I think this is Rod Kirikoff as a young man-child, I think. But, you know, we've talked about double pink. I think that's what they're going to talk about. I haven't seen this part because he's on another episode, but I think because of this show, you may know if they say it's double pink fabric, You know that. We've talked about it.
At a farm
We really are
auction,
funny tonight.
about 15 years ago.
That's about the time I bought my first quilt at a farm auction.
Glad you weren't there bidding against me.
I'm a fierce bidder, Penny.
This is this double pink fabric you were telling me about.
Yeah.
Double pink.
The double pinks are a really interesting fabric, and when I started researching for my book, I thought that I could find real distinct changes in the double pinks.
I'm taking a screenshot.
And document that and show that.
From time period to time period.
Yes, because I knew
Do
that
you all...
just having seen some
Oh my God!
Seen the...
I am dead. Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm taking screenshots of this entire thing. Do you all know who this is? I mean, he is 30 years old. Can you believe he's a baby? Pemberito. I'm gonna get back to that other comment that you made, and the answer is yes. Oh wait, hold on. Somebody held a comment. Pemberito, he's a baby? Well, that's another screenshot I'm gonna take. Okay. Thank you, mods. Thank you, mods, for approving Pemberito's comment. He's a baby. Twitch didn't like that. Streamlabs didn't like he's a baby. They thought it was an insult. It's not. It's the truth. Okay. Rod Kirikoff, famous collector, friend.
The color show up throughout quilts from the early to late.
Well, when you say early, when did you start seeing them?
1820, 30s.
Oh, early.
Yeah, 1840s, little bits of it. I started going through fabric sample books, dyers books.
Oh, that's great. A big fellow. I see you, my great
in
cat.
museums.
Museums, the American Museum of Textile History is one that has a great collection. I learned too, it's unfortunate a lot of those swatch books were lost by either fires in mills or they were thrown out because they weren't deemed
Considered
valuable.
important, yeah.
Yes. And they're a wonderful research tool now. But I just started finding that printers just printed this over and over and did variation upon variation pretty consistently because quilt makers loved it. And women were using it for clothing. I mean, I've seen children's clothing made out of double pinks. Now,
double pink would be, define double pink for me.
Well, it's basically a pink background with printed over, generally with, a deeper red.
So it's no particular pattern, it's that double printing with red on pink.
Right. In some of the early writings, women referred to it as like a seaweed or a sea moss. And it does look like that. But there were just so many variations because women loved it, and the printers just kept printing it. And even within a long period of time, there would be so many variations. Now, the one thing that I've found...
You guys, let me just point out, there's like 3 minutes left of this video, and then I will release you. This guy, at this time, he was one of the... Kirikoff and Michael Kyle, who wrote the book with Penny McMorris, The Art Quilt, okay? Kirikoff and Kyle, who, by the way, Michael Kyle has a panel on the AIDS quilt, okay? And I should definitely show it to you. I know where to find it. And so Michael Kyle is gone, but those guys, Rod and Michael, were really a big deal. Like, they were serious collectors, obviously, but Rod Kirikoff, who you're seeing now, who I didn't meet till, years ago, but it's just so thrilling. He's such a cool guy. And his book, Unconventional Unexpected, Quilt Folk, he asked Quilt Folk if we were interested in publishing the second edition, which we did, to great fanfare. And he's so happy, it's truly an honor to know these people and to be able to know their work. Us, like, it's really cool because we get the backstory of why they matter and why they're important. And at this time in his life, he and Penny McMorris, Penny McMorris was helping build the James Quilt collection. And Rod Kirikoff was building his collection and writing books. This guy has written like 4 books, 2 really important books, and like a bunch of other books. It's just really interesting. It's totally cool. Kelly, it is all, oh, well, the interview with me and Rod at QuiltCon was not taped, I don't think. But when I was in Lincoln, he was there during the new acquisitions tour. And I just talked to him briefly. I just like grabbed him on camera during the live stream. So it's in that. And it's just as the tour starts to get going. So if you go to the Twitch channel and you look for that acquisitions tour, right when we get into the acquisitions room, the collections room, I talked to him just briefly, but you can see him now and then. Yeah, I know. I don't know that they film stuff at QuiltCon. I don't know that they do. They take pictures, but it's a drag. I don't know. QuiltCon was weird this year. Okay.
Quilts of this period, and I look at other fabrics like this one.
When do you think this is from about?
Okay, I think it's around 1890.
Cop,
it was late as
buddies.
1910.
Buddy film.
And you see double pinks a lot in that 1880 to 1910 period. Used a lot, used as the sashing, or even the whole quilt may be the pattern using a double pink fabric against white. Earlier quilts, you'll see little bits, small pieces of double pinks. You have to look at the other fabrics and you have to look at the pattern to date it, just as you do with this.
I mentioned Rebecca Shore's work earlier in the program. Rebecca, who I said before was from Chicago, takes a square and just pushes it a little bit further. And I think she does some work that is both traditional looking and forward looking at the same time.
That's the show, y'all. Penny's
This is one of Becky's early quilts from 1983. And I find I never get tired of looking at it. I really love the playful way she's cut some of the plaids on the bias. So your eye senses movement in part of the quilt, and other parts seem to lie completely flat. While the center, at least for me, has kind of a 3D look. It almost looks as though you can see through a grid out to a sky full of shooting stars.
That's beautiful.
Becky's latest work plays with 3D cubes, some of which seem to be sunlit because their brightness is seen against muted menswear colors and patterns.
Yeah, I do too, Ivana.
Because Rebecca is from Chicago, I wanted to use the phrase that a well-known architect made famous, because when I think of Chicago, I think of its wonderful architecture. And that architect is Mies van der Rohe, and his phrase was less is more. And what less is more means to me is that something that's very uncomplicated and simple can often be just as beautiful or more beautiful than something that's very complicated. So if you're a very simple quilt type of person, just go with it. That's great. Next week, we'll see Terry Mangott's guardian angel, who will be here with us, and we'll see what it was like to be dragged halfway across the country to live in a log cabin.
Love it. Okay, so fabulous. Producer / host. Here's what I want to end with. First of all, look at all these screenshots. Look at this. Look at this. You see on the side of my screen there? These are all the screenshots that I took that I will be showing to Rod Kirikoff. He's so funny. So yeah, here's what we're gonna end the show with. I am doing Quilters Newsletter Friday, next Friday, which will be super fun and really, like, it'll be so nice to be back, because everything went crazy this week. So that's, and Pem has let us know that it is her birthday next Friday. So next Friday is Quilters Newsletter Friday, and it's Pem Burrito's birthday. And so it'll be a special show. And if anybody ever has a birthday on a show, you have to tell me. We celebrate birthdays around here because we're alive and we have a birthday. And that's really, really cool. And so if you ever have a birthday on a show, you should always be excited to have a birthday. But if you have a birthday when we have a Quilt Nerd show, I mean, 1000% tell me ahead of time, okay? And, oh, Kelly, you've outdone yourself once again. We love you and miss you so much. We're so happy your sweetheart is on the mend. Take care of each other. We will. We totally will. He's really, really an important person in the world. I'm really glad he's out of the hospital, and yeah. So yes, so it's Pam's birthday next Friday, Quilter's newsletter Friday, and also, what was I gonna say at the end? Oh God, I don't know. Damn, there was something. Oh yeah. So maybe instead of, like, I've been working on this documentary, trying to make this documentary project happen, but you know what? Maybe I should do. Maybe, and I'll leave you with this, and you think about it. And if you know any TV producers, let me know. I mean, The Great American Quilt with Penny McMorris, that was a pretty cool show. Maybe I need to make a TV show that's that. Like, maybe it's Quilt Nerd. I don't know. I mean, there's not been a show like that since that show, where a woman was like talking about the Esprit Collection and like showing you quilts and talking about an artist. You know what I mean? Like there's so many how-to shows and stuff. I mean, I guess this show is that, but there's not like a set. There's, you know, a green screen and a conference room, you know, like this. You know what I mean? So maybe it should be The Great American Quilt, and I'll get Penny McMorris. Lord, you know, look, we need help. Maybe I'll get Penny McMorris to make it with me. I don't know. I never got to meet her. Anyway, thanks everybody. I hope that you have a wonderful night. It was a long one tonight, almost 2 hours and 40 minutes, and I loved every single moment of it. I think you're great, and I'm really glad to be back. And that is it until Tuesday night, and then Friday night and Saturday night. So 3 shows next week. Thank God. Okay, everybody. I will see you later. Yvonne, girl, it was good, really good to see you, and everybody else. And I will see you on Tuesday night.